Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Recently, Helikon-Tex released their SAS smock. And one of the things that surprised me was when I was looking at the website, they specifically mentioned that the SAS smock is a bridge between two other garments that they have. One is heavier, one is lighter. And I've got all three, so I thought we might as well look at all three today. So what we're going to have a look at, which is the lighter Woodsman, followed by the SAS smock, which is the middle one, and then we also have the Pilgrim anorak here as well. Now, a couple of things before we start, just so that you're aware, I always go for a large. I am a large, I tend to go for a large, and a large fits me just right. So all of the garments that we're going to have a look today are large. I'm 5'10", which is 176, 178 centimeters. I'm 100 kilos, which is about 220 pounds, 46, 48 inch chest. And they fit me exactly how I would expect a large to fit. Now, as far as similarities are concerned, these are all made pretty much from the same material, which is DuraCanvas. DuraCanvas is a poly-cotton elastin mix, which is great. All of these are part of their bushcraft. Where is it now? There's a little thing. Anyway, there's a little tag on here that says that it's part of their bushcraft line. Is it on this one? It is, it's there. The little bushcraft kind of thing. So they're all part of that range, and the reason that they go for the DuraCanvas is mainly because it's just a little bit tougher than some of the other materials that they use. They use VersaStretch, they use Storm Stretch. It's just that extra little bit tougher. It's also because this is part of their bushcraft line, so if you're near a fire and there are small embers that are kind of flying around, if any of those get onto this, you can just brush them off, or if you miss them and you don't brush them off, it's not going to set fire. So there's a small amount of flame resistance in these. That doesn't mean you can go running into a burning building with one of these and be safe. Okay, now let's start with the lighter one of the three. So this is the Woodsman anorak. This is such a strange thing about these because the the Woodsman and the Pilgrim are both anoraks. Typical half zip kind of over the head anoraks, whereas the SAS is a jacket with a full zip. But anyway, so that's one of the other differences. All of the zips on here are YKK zips. All of the hooded kind of sections all have beard guards. The hoods are great. All of these hoods have a reinforced brim on them, so that, you know, it doesn't flop around too much. And they all have levels of toggles and stuff in there, so that you can pull this down on your face. All of these also have adjustments on the cuff. Yes, they do, and they also have under the armpit. Now, with the SAS and the Pilgrim, it's just a small slot there, whereas with the Woodsman, so at the bottom you have two press studs, and then you have two zips. So with this, almost like an awning on a tent, look how big or look how large you can make this be. I don't think you're supposed to kind of wear it like this, although it does kind of look a little bit cool. But if you have other garments, especially that you want to use this as a lighter kind of outside layer, if you have other garments that you might struggle possibly getting on over another jacket, this is brilliant because these zips under the armpit are huge. It goes from the waist all the way right up into the corner here. So being able to get stuff on over your head with this is great, and you can pull them down, put in the press studs, just like that. What I would say is, what would be nice is two press studs. Every now and again a press stud will come undone and you'll be walking and you'll be like, oh, that's a bit cold, and then you realise that the sides come undone. If they went with a double press stud setup, I think that would be better, just for extra little bit of security, but I'm splitting hairs here. It's not as bad as I'm kind of making out. If you wanted to allow in some air though, there is a double zip, so you can pull it down, maybe pull it down that far, and then, you know, that would be great. What I would have liked to have seen as well on this though is maybe another press stud here, because potentially that will come all the way down and, you know, you just, you know, open again. And this one weirdly is a little bit harder to pull up than the other one is to pull down. Now on the front, so I mentioned, you know, you got that half zip there, or third zip, I guess. It doesn't really come all the way down. You have a Joey pocket here with double zips, so you can have these on either side or both sides, or you know, you can pull these wide open. On the inside, you have something that you can attach items to. There is also a little split socket here, so if you have a radio or anything like that on the inside, then you can pass that through here, up then through the collar onto your ears. And then on the inside, if I pull this down a little bit, you have 4 pockets in here. Great for your mobile phone, great for keys, great for a compass, all of that sort of stuff. If you want to put a full ordnance survey style map in here, you can fit several in here. It's a huge pocket. Then behind that, you then have a pass-through pocket. So the pass-through pocket is great, it goes all the way through. The lining for the pass-through pocket is the mesh material that Helikon-Tex use a lot in their garments. Now I don't have a favourite, but what I will say is I wear this more than the others. It's just easy. You throw it on. It's got that very kind of popular layout to it. It feels like a lot of jackets or a lot of anoraks that you've worn in the past that you just throw on. You feel like you're at home. You go out. You know, you do whatever it is that you need to do for the day. This is the Woodsman anorak, which is the lighter of the 3. So next up we have the middle one, which is the newest one of the 3 of these, which is the Helikon-Tex SAS Smock. Now, as I mentioned, it seems strange that the other 2 are both anoraks that you pull over your head, whereas this is a full length zip smock on it. But I'm guessing that they just thought that there was a middle ground between the 2 of those, that they just wanted to have something there. Now, the other strange thing is that the Woodsman anorak weighs roughly 700 grams. The SAS smock weighs roughly 1,000 grams. The Pilgrim anorak weighs roughly 1,000 grams. So even then it's not the middle of them. But as you'd expect with a smock, so you have a full zip on this, similar to the others, you know, YKK zips. You have a beard section at the top just to stop it from getting caught on your facial pubes. Hood, which is nice, so you have pulleys on your hood so that you can pull this down a little bit closer to you, and there's also one on the back as well. This is a fairly typical setup for a smock. So you have the 4 pockets on the front here. The 2 pockets down here on the bottom are farmer style pockets with turnover, which are great turnover flaps. So rather than the flap just being an extra bit that folds over, the pocket actually raises up into the flap. So as you turn this over, it's like a roll top backpack. And then on each of those you have these really nice large Canadian buttons, which again are great, especially if you're using this in the winter and you have some gloves on. It's very easy to be able to do those. Now behind these, although I said it's a fairly standard 4 pocket setup, there's actually 2 additional pockets here at the back in a shooter style that you also have zips on, which are nice and hidden. Coming up onto the chest, we then have 2 top breast pockets. These open up, so rather than these being roll top, this is just kind of your normal standard style flap, and then you can get into the pocket. And additionally, behind each of these, whether it's on the left or the right, you also have a side in pocket as well. So yes, it has the standard 4 pocket setup, but each pocket is actually 2 pockets. The zip on this is great. You know, you can zip it all the way down, you can zip it all the way up. If it is that you're getting in and out of a vehicle a lot, or if you have things that are on your hip, then it does have a double zip that will open from the bottom and it will open all the way up. This is it also the... No, I thought for a second it's one of the tearaway ones, but I don't think it is. No, it isn't. I'm glad I checked and didn't embarrass myself. Cuffs, you have your normal style these aren't elasticated, but you have adjustable cuffs on here, so if you want to put those down just a little bit, then you can do. But as far as the sleeves are concerned, what you would tend to get with certain smocks is you'd have additional storage on the sleeves, whereas with these there's no additional storage. Underneath the armpits, so where is it? Here we go. Then you have a zip on here which you can open out. If I was to update anything on this, I would do the same as the Pilgrim with this, and I would use some of the mesh. So the mesh that they have inside these pockets. So in here, this is mesh backed, which is the behind pocket. The pocket down here as well, this is mesh. Oh no, that's not mesh backed. Oh, there you go. Anyway. But it would be nice if you had mesh on the inside here to stop it expanding too much. It's a little thing, it's not much, it's just something if there was a second version of this jacket that I would add to it. The last little things are just kind of little creature comforts on here. Where is it now? So inside the pocket here, there's a little lashing point. So if you did have a compass or a tool that you used a lot, and you know, you're the type that leaves it in places, then you can lash it onto that. Also down here on the side, there's some 550 paracord, so if you're constantly taking your gloves off when you're doing certain jobs, whatever it is, and you want to clip them onto there, then you can do that as well. But this is very nice. All of these jackets all come in several different colours. The SAS being the newest one, probably only comes in the least amount of colours. I think there's only 3 or 4, whereas with the others there's several different colours of each. But this is the Helikon-Tex SAS smock. Now last but definitely not least, the heaviest of the 3, this is the Helikon-Tex Pilgrim anorak. Even though on paper it's the same weight as the SAS smock, but the SAS supposedly is a bridge between the Pilgrim, which is the heavier one, and the Woodsman, which is the lighter one. So very similar to all of the others, or at least very similar to the Woodsman in the fact that this is an anorak, so the zip on the front only goes down halfway. Now with this one, this is a true halfway zip, so this comes down and it's about 3 fingers above where my belly button is, whereas with the Woodsman does stop because it has that top down Joey style pocket on the front. This does allow you more access to things on the inside should you need to get to them, and that's done specifically for a reason, because there are more options on the inside here. So one of the reasons that this is heavier than the Woodsman is because it has a lot more of this mesh material. This isn't a lined jacket, neither is the Woodsman and neither is the SAS. However, it kind of feels lined because of the large amount of this mesh that's on the inside. So as I mentioned, on the inside here, you know, they want you to get access into this because of this large zip. So on the inside here, you have these little kind of lashing points. Also on the same side on this side as well, so if you you know, maybe it's cold, you want to put your gloves on the inside of this, then you can do that as well. Now one of the things that I didn't mention with all of these is with the DuraCanvas, so this is it's DWR coated, so at the moment now it's spitting a little bit, and any water that gets onto here you can just brush off. but because it is a poly cotton blend, after a while it will start to absorb some of that water. But all of these jackets you can wax, whether that's with an old-fashioned wax that you wax on and then use some heat, or if you want to use a modern style wax like a tech wash or a nick wax, then you can apply that to it as well, which will increase its hydrophobic qualities, let's say. So there's your main zip. Zip goes all the way up to the top. Beer guard as well. The hood. Now we'll say the hood on this one. So with the others, you do have to, for at least my head, at least I have to undo the zip to be able to get the hood up. With the others, you can put the hood up with the zip closed. On the inside, you have similar bungee cords so that you can tighten this down around your face. And then there's also one at the back as well. And again, so on the inside here you have more of this mesh, which again it just adds an extra layer of kind of a wind resistance, although DuraCanvas isn't a wind stopper material. But I do find with the Pilgrim anorak that I don't feel the wind as much as I do with the SAS smock and the Woodsman. Again, I think it's just this extra little layer with the mesh that helps. On the front, so we do have, rather than having a Joey pocket across the front, down here a little bit further down we have a pass-through pocket. This goes all the way through. This is lower down than you'd normally find with these. You tend to find that these are kind of here. The main reason they've done that is that if you have a jacket, idiot. If you have a Bergen or if you have a rucksack over the top of this, where the belt comes round, it still allows you easy access into the pockets, which I think is great. And these pockets are lined with the same mesh. And then on the front of the pocket, it's fleece lined, so if you do have cold hands, you don't have a hand warmer or gloves whilst you're out, and you've got a Bergen over the top, you can put your hands into here and it will really help to keep your hands warm. Coming up to the front then, we then have two double pockets, or at least we have two on each side. So you have these pull down pockets at the front which give you access to a huge panel on the inside. So this goes, so here there is a drawstring which you can pull tight. So that's where that seam goes, and then it goes all the way up to the top of this pocket and right all the way through to this seam on the side. These are great if you want to put your gloves in here. You can still fit a map into here. The opening is a little small, but with a little kind of map gymnastics and a little bit of origami, you can get it to fit in. And then you also have a secondary pocket on the inside. So if you have keys or a compass or any sort of tool that you always want to make sure that you know where it is, it's there, it's directly there where you want it. The pocket on the other side is exactly the same. Then on top of there, you then have two fold over pockets. So similar to the SAS smock, these pockets are fold over, so the pocket actually goes past where the seam is to stop dust and debris and crap getting in there. And then there's also an additional lashing point on the inside as well, which again is great. Cuffs, you have a hook and loop on the cuffs, which is great. You can make those smaller if you need to. Then going up, what the Woodsman doesn't have, you have bicep pockets on here, and again the bicep pockets on here are great. I can put my hand in. I know that my is inch perfect, 9 inches from my baby finger up to my thumb. I can put that in there and I can spread my hand perfectly. Exactly the same on both biceps. Last little piece on here is under the armpits. Now I will say, as far as heat management is concerned, this is possibly the warmest but also the best one at managing heat, mainly because you have both of these two pockets here, which if you don't have anything in here, or if you do have anything in here, there's this handy little pocket to stop it falling out. So you put your keys into there, open this up, and it'll allow quite a bit of air to get through there. Also, if you open the pockets down here as well, this will also allow some air in. And then underneath your armpits, then you also have additional zips which will help. I had these open the last time I was wearing it because I was so hot. and these will open up for you, but hopefully you'll notice if I open that up there that this has the mesh in there. This is what I mean with the SAS smock. If they were to update the SAS smock so that it has that mesh in there as well, I think that would be a great addition to the SAS smock. So there you have it, 3 kind of similar garments. In fact, the Woodsman and the Pilgrim have a lot in common in the fact that, you know, similar materials, similar over the head anorak style. The SAS smock, I kind of get. I wouldn't have said that it bridged the gap between the two of them. Really, the gap should be the Pilgrim, the Woodsman, and the Mistral, which I haven't brought with me today, but I have made a piece of content on the differences between the Woodsman and the Mistral. That's the 3 heavyweight, medium and lightweight, but instead we have the Pilgrim at 100 grams, the SAS at 100 grams, and the Woodsman at 700 grams. But I think depending on what you need them for, of the 3, I probably would have named it differently, but I couldn't think of a way to kind of describe it. The simplest of them all, or maybe the lightest in features maybe, would be the Woodsman. It's great, but it's very very simple. I put in a but there, it didn't need a but. In the middle, possibly with then the next amount of features, you then have the SAS. And then probably with the most amount of features, you then have the Pilgrim. But I think depending on what you need it for, then there's a jacket within that bushcraft range that Helikon-Tex have for you. So there you go. Now I want to say a huge thank you to Military First. Well actually I bought this one from Military First. But Military First did send this one. I think I picked this one up myself. But anyway, a huge thank you to Military First for supporting the channel over the last 4 or 5 years. You can pick all of these up from Military First. Military First are one of the UK's, if not the largest UK military and outdoor adventuring online retailer. And yeah, they've got a lot of stuff. If you're after Helikon-Tex gear, then they probably have, in fact I'm pretty sure they have the largest UK supply of them, so they are one of the best places, if not the best place. Why do I keep saying one of, if not the best? And why I've said that 3 times. Anyway, yes, so a huge thank you and a shout out to them. I do have a discount code as well. You can get 10% off with the code Moorlander 10 off non-sale items. And I specifically mentioned that. Military First do have a lot of sales through the year, so if there is a sale on with the item, then just get it at that price. This isn't a 10% off the additional sale price, it's only a 10% off non-sale items, but it's there for you if it's useful to you. So a huge thank you to Military First. I'll leave all of those links below for all of these. I'll also leave some of my social media links as well, so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC, and also my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. But for now, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. The farmer over there is spreading muck. Now this will separate the townsfolk from the country folk. There's just something about the smell of manure. I don't know what it is. When I was young, bleh, hated it. Got older, just love it. You spend a lot of time living in the rural communities, and yeah, the farmer, we lived right on the edge of a farm, so there'd be many mornings that my entire family would be woken up to the smell of fresh manure. Like I say, when I was young, hated it. Now, I don't know, I like it. I like the smell. Weird. I'm weird, who cares? If you're rural, yeah, like I say, this will separate the city folk from the country folk. There you go. Now, where was I? Now, I've filmed a lot of stuff while I was out. In fact, I filmed 3 pieces of content while I'm here today. It's my birthday, February the 2nd, 2nd of the 2nd. It's also Groundhog Day. Randizzle McSavage, 624th crowned monarch of the Kingdom of the Moorlands, predicts an early summer. What they do is they then take what I predict, they send it off to Gobbler's Knob, and they say that the rat predicts it, but it's actually a Moorlandese tradition that you know we took over there. The original founders of Gobbler's Knob were Moorlandese sex crimes people that we threw out to the colonies. That's why it's called Gobbler's Knob. Anyway, that's enough said about that. Yeah, have a lovely day. I think this is coming out on Sunday. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Yeah, and I'll see you in a bit.